Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3:01 p.m. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today, everybody, but it's just a little after 3 o'clock here in Nubian, Iowa. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is December 1st, the first day of December, and it's a Tuesday, so that means it's Trivia Tuesday, where today's trivia is not going to be running related at all. Pretty much kind of like the way that this live stream tends to go, but hopefully we'll all have a good time here. I do want to say what's going on to everyone listening on the podcast version of this, which is basically just this that you guys are watching now, just the audio version stripped out. That way people take it along with them on their run or on their commute. Hopefully you guys are having a good trip out there today. And everyone watching this YouTube after the fact, awesome. I really appreciate you guys, but I would also love it if you guys can catch a live stream sometime. That would be awesome as well. All right, let's see with that who's here today. And let me check, make sure. Oh, speaking of that, you know what? I did all that, and then I forgot to start hitting record for the podcast people. So podcast people are going to be jumping like right in the middle because I had a really nice intro for you guys that I laid out, and then I forgot to hit the record button for the audio recording, but we'll get you. All right, so let's see who's here today. First off, ooh, look at that. Michael Sester coming in first with a 2020 super chat. Thank you so much, Michael. Says putting a bow on 2020 and looking forward to 2021. I would say I can totally get behind that sentiment. I'm very much looking forward to this year being over. A lot of hopefully good things will be happening in this month. I think a lot of not so good things, hopefully won't be happening this month, but it may be coming. But hopefully there'll be good things happening with some emergency youth authorizations coming up. And hopefully, we can get on the other side of whatever this year was. So I am also very much looking forward to 2021. Thank you so much, Michael. And I think definitely a great way to start off the month, thinking about how we're nearing the end. All right. We also got Casey A here. Says, good afternoon, everyone. Warm in the Northeast today. Time for some foam rolling and strength work. Cool. It is not warm here in the Midwest. Today it was really cold. I mean, it's not bad now. It's like in the mid 30s. Sorry, let me adjust this camera. I'm a little bit bright. So it was like in the mid, there we go, a little darker. And then, yeah, there. So it was like it's in the mid 30s now, but this morning for my run, air temp was in the mid teens. So it was like 15 degrees Fahrenheit out. It was chilly. It was really chilly today, but I had a short run, felt really good, really solid. And all in all, felt really great out there. It wasn't windy. At least it wasn't windy. Jeff Elliott says it's in the 40s there in North Carolina and windy. I'm almost embarrassed by how cold it's making him feel. It's all about acclimation and like your layers. So like 40s can feel ridiculously cold if you're not wearing the right gear, I think. So, I know a lot of people like to have the competition of that's not cold, this is cold, but knifey spoony with the weather. But I think that, it's all relative. Yeah. Adam Steve says, who else has been last minute cramming for Trivia Tuesday? That's funny. Yeah. So let me get to the topic for today's Trivia Tuesday. Yesterday for the Monday mukbang, we did, I ate food that came out of my Tautronics 6-quart air fryer, which I've never had an air fryer before. My wife and I have been talking about getting one, and Tautronics sent me one to review. So I tried that out, and I thought that today the great topic would be like TV or fictional inventions, like inventions, but like, it starts out, you'll see how I kind of got there from the questions there today, but it starts out from just like other food inventions that I saw on TV and then, or in fiction, and then it's going to just expand beyond that to just other fictional inventions. So that's going to be the topic for today. Let's say hi to a couple people first before we get to that. Christian Schobinger says, good evening, everyone. Daniel M says, does anyone here use an AeroPress? Just got one and thoroughly enjoying it. I love the AeroPress. Sometimes I'm too impatient for it. I'd rather just hit the button on the Keurig, but I know it's not good for the environment. And I know the coffee's not as good, but it is fast, which, I mean, isn't that like what you say for everything that's bad for the environment? But yeah, so that's no excuse. But I do enjoy the AeroPress quite a bit. I think it makes really good coffee. I feel like the cost per cup and like the fiddliness of it, like how that's a everyday dad term, fiddliness, but like how much work goes into making the cup, like that all balances out with the quality, I think, really well. Because you can get better cups of coffee, but it's going to either cost more or it's going to just take a lot more steps, you know? And so I feel like it's a nice, like, middle of the road. It gives you a quality cup every time. No Twist One says, happy first of the month, y'all. Awesome. Every time someone says first of the month, it reminds me of that, was it Bone Thugs song? Remember that one? Remember when Bone Thugs was big? That was an interesting time in hip hop. Sam Matassa says, hello from right outside Second City Comedy Club in Chicago. Awesome. How's everything going in the Chi-Town? And Simon N says, good evening from the UK. Awesome. Good. Glad to have you guys here. All right. So I'm a little bit behind schedule today. As you can tell, I was a little bit late today as well. So I'm going to still have to do some copying and pasting from the script that I wrote for my Trivia Tuesday for today. All right, but here we go. Let's get to the first question, Trivia Tuesday. There's no points, there's no prizes. We're just here for fun. Wrong answers are encouraged. I try to make it so that way, no matter how like hard the trivia questions might be, the way you can answer it, you might be able to guess it. But today, because we're talking about fictional inventions, this one's a little bit harder. You kind of got to either going to know it or you don't, I think. So with that, sorry, something just happened. It sounds real different in my headphones all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on here. All right, let's go. Question number 1 for fictional inventions. So in the show Arrested Development, what was the name of the deep fryer device that George Bluth invented that was eventually made illegal to sell because it kept burning people? Anyone remember that? Any Arrested Development fans out here? I think I mentioned it yesterday when we were talking about the air fryer. But while we get some hands on the buzzers, if anyone has a running question about any of the recent videos or not even about the recent videos, feel free to put them in the comments too when we're waiting for some of the answers to come in. Oh, but you guys, see, you guys are so good at this. No matter, even if I try to make them a little harder, you guys always know it. Frank Luther says, the Flaminator. Is that an Arrested Development invention? I'm going to have to Google that later. But, you know, but that's not the right answer. Daniel says, cornholer. Where did that go? Daniel, that's not exactly it, but very, very close. It looks like we got FOD Runner in the house. So he's saying hey to Jeff, who spotted him first. Awesome. Good to see you. All right. Let's see. The first person with the right answer was No Twist One. He came in with cornballer. Yeah, and a lot of people got it. Mateus got it as well. Goljapan says it's a blowtorch. No, it's not a blowtorch. But Martha says, haha, I never even seen the show. Dead on arrival with the question. Yeah, sorry about that. Lewis called it the corn flamer. Arias called it the scorcher. Funny. All potentially good answers. Kiefer says the Trivia Tuesday's biggest champion with 2 trillion points has arrived. That's right. That's right. Good job, Kiefer. You will forever be champion. Awesome. JC says it's the Optigrab. I don't even know where that comes from, but I like that. All right. Let's see. And going back to the coffee, I've seen some people talking about how like they like to use the French press as well. Also a very good way to make coffee. But the thing I don't like about it is when you have the French press, one, I don't like the grit. You sometimes get like that gritty stuff at the bottom from all the particles that are smaller than the coffee press, like the mesh. And then you have to make like a whole bunch of it at a time. It's hard to make like a cup of coffee in a coffee press. And I like coffee when it's like freshly brewed. And so like, because I feel like a lot of the aromatics, they evaporate over time. That's why like reheated coffee always tastes bad. So the French press, it's hard when you only make 1 cup of coffee. I used to have a smaller French press precisely for that reason, and it only made like 1 cup. That was a nice kind of like compromise. I did enjoy that. But then I was like, there's a lot of work for 1 cup of coffee. So I was like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. All right, Noah's here. He says, yo, what's going on? Good to see you, Noah. All right. And Ben Weiss says, how long does an AeroPress take? If you have a good kettle that can warm up your water fast, and usually I find like the electric, like the standalone electric kettles usually like boil water super quick. It's basically as long as it takes to boil the water, then you kind of like, you steep it a little bit, kind of. Some people steep it longer than others, but essentially you're using a little bit of like the pressure of the plunging action. So you get a little bit of pressure to push that boiling water, or just slightly less hot than boiling water, with the grounds through a filter. And so that's why it's called AeroPress. So like it probably takes me about like a minute to make, but it's that time of like getting the water to boil. That's what takes a little bit longer. Tiva says, can you make an espresso in an AeroPress? Yes, but it's not going to be as good because you're not going to get the crema on it, because espresso, to really make it espresso, you need like a certain number of bars, like the BARRs, like the pressure units. And I don't think you can get nearly as many as you need to be able to make a decent cup of espresso. So it's, you can like put espresso ground like beans through there, or like an espresso roast, and like grind it fine the same way. It won't taste the same. Corey Allen likes classic and cheap Mr. Coffee drip for him. Never lets him down and keeps it hot. Yeah. I mean, there's the price per cup is amazing. That's for sure. And you're getting that classic flavor for sure. I like Arrow says, we talking about coffee today? I think we're going to end up talking about coffee today, even though that's not the subject of the Trivia Tuesday, and that's totally cool. Yeah, and Alec Arrow says, the paper filter strains out the oils required for crema. I didn't know that. Interesting. Alvaro Arias says, the best cup of coffee is made with the Chemex, or the one you can drink in San Mateo de Tota, the best coffee in Costa Rica, and in my opinion, in the world. Well, I've never had coffee there in Costa Rica, or in that space in Costa Rica, but maybe one day I will be able to. But Chemex coffee is tasty, but the coffee is great, but that seems like a lot of effort. Like whenever I see people do it, they're like, first you gotta like get the filter wet with the boiling water first, let that all drain out, pour it off, and then put it in the grinds, and then steep it for a little bit with a certain amount of water, let it hang out, then put some more in it, right? So it's multi-step, and I just sometimes, for that first cup of coffee in the morning, it's too many steps. For like an after dinner cup of coffee, that would definitely work for me. I could do that. Gary Russell says, and now I'm making coffee. I almost had coffee today, but today I just went with water. JC says, coffee is a perfect pre-run beverage. Never have I needed a cornfield. I've needed a cornfield many times, but I do usually have coffee before a run. I like it before a race too. All right. And then Shannon says, I am very committed to my reusable pods for my Keurig. I get to pick the intensity and don't have to wait for an entire pot to brew. That's good. But the thing is, for me, I can never get it to taste right when I do the reusable pods. I just think that there's something missing from the equation that I just can't figure out. It just never tastes right. So like I always buy the K cups, even like not even necessarily like Keurig brand ones or Green Mountain, but it has to come in the thing for me to enjoy it. My wife and I, for a while, we were buying ones from a brand. I think it's called San Francisco, or it has the word San Francisco on it. But it's like this compostable K-cup pod, and the bottom of it looks like someone like homemade a filter. On the bottom, it's like burlap looking almost, and it's supposed to biodegrade if you take it to an industrial biodegrade facility. So like it says it's biodegradable, but it's kind of not, so kind of cheating, but it made us feel better about it a little bit. So I don't know. But that coffee was pretty good, and I felt decent about it, but it was a lot more expensive than regular K-cup coffee. All right, Leroy Fromage says, love from France. Is Fromage an actual French last name? Can it be a French last name? I'm not sure. Simon Evans says, had anyone tried the Kopi Luwak coffee? The fresh from civet poop? That's the one where the cat eats it first, right? Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I suppose if I were like on a trip somewhere, like on a vacation, and like we went on an excursion somehow, and they were like, now I take you to the finest coffee in the world, and it's like $100 a cup, but for you it's $20 a cup. I'd be like, well, everyone else is drinking it first. I'll probably drink it. I'd probably drink it if I were like there, in that experience. I would do it. But am I gonna go and like buy it like on Amazon? No, I don't think I would. Leroy says, Fromage is not really his last name. I didn't think it was, but I think it'd be amazing if it were. Let's see. Yeah. Shannon says, I'm gonna go home, drink coffee, and listen to Bone Thugs. Productivity just plummeted thanks to you all. I don't know. After the coffee, though, you might be much more productive. Let's see. Tim Flanker says, "Are you going to run the Barkley Marathon in 2021?" No, that's not for me. I get lost in like a state park. So like one time I was with my parents in a park somewhere in Central Jersey, and the park was adjacent to like a high school. I had like a high school on one side and like an open field on the other. So it was like a little square patch of woods. Couldn't have been more than half a mile long. And I was supposed to run like a circle loop around it. And there was a couple of other like crisscrossy paths that went through it. And I got lost after like 15 minutes. It was like middle of the day in the summer. I had a phone with cell signal. I still got lost. So like Barkley Marathon, I wouldn't make it, not because of the running. It'd be the navigation that would get me. I think that would get me on any ultramarathon. I mean, that's my biggest concern on any ultramarathon. So like if I couldn't find someone to like run with, I think that I'd just be lost. I know I would be. Yeah, I'd be recalculating all the time. All right. So let's get to question number 2 here from the trivia. And this is where I wanted to keep it to like food inventions, but I just couldn't figure out what it was. All right. So, all right. I think I got the whole thing. All right. There's a limit on how big the questions can be, so I think I got it all. Here we go. Question number 2. After Homer Simpson designed his own car, which we've discussed, we think was called the Homer, right? Homer's half-brother, who was played by Danny DeVito, if you don't remember that, lost his business and his fortune. Like his car company, like just went bankrupt like overnight. So to get back on his feet, thinking that he needed a new invention, Homer's half-brother invented what? Do you guys remember what his half-brother invented after Homer like tanked his business? Let's see if anyone knows that one. Sam Mataza says the monorail. That's funny. That's a good one. Alvaro says, in Costa Rica, there is a race. It has a marathon. The Moon Run is a trail race. In December, maybe consider making it. Oh, that sounds amazing. If there's coffee at the end of it, maybe there's coffee and beer at the finish line at the post-race party. That'd be pretty amazing. And then the Leroy Fromage says, Le Roi Fromage. Okay, king of cheese. I get it. Now I get it. It took me a while. Sorry. Steven Gersdorf says, some kind of weird snowplow. No, that was a business that Homer got into. He was Mr. Plow. That's his name. The name again was Mr. Plow. Yeah, all right. Gamer says whatever he invented nothing. He just started blasting. Ben White says an electric hammer. Oh, was that one of the failed ones? I think Ben White. I think he might have even given a better answer than I had. Jeff Elliott remembers how The Simpsons started as a short on the Tracy Ullman Show. Yeah, remember when like the pinnacle of comedy was the Tracy Ullman Show and the Gary Shandling Show? Remember that? I was a little bit too young to be watching those, but I definitely tried to watch those. There was a weird time though. There was a part of that where like, you know, my family and I, we moved a lot growing up. And so that you would get different cable packages every time you moved. So sometimes we had HBO, sometimes we didn't. There was a time where I had HBO, so I was able to watch Tracy Ullman and Gary Shandling. And I didn't get most of it, but I did enjoy the cartoons. So there was definitely that. All right. Let's see. We had the right answer just right away. You guys are just so fast at this. And this time it was, Dr. Funk 1216 coming in with the baby translator. Yeah, that's awesome. And then let's see who else had it. Luis Becerra had it as well. Carlos had it. Matthias. Man, you guys are good. Awesome. Good work. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says, I remember the Gary Shandling Show. Yeah, I feel like I was more of a Gary Shandling Show than a Tracy Ullman Show kind of person. But to be honest with you, I can't remember like a thing. I remember watching them, but I can't remember a thing about them. That was a long time ago. Ben Y says the electric hammer was one of Homer's own inventions when he became inventor for a bit. That's funny. Let's see. Daniel M says, did y'all know babies babble in their native language? Did you know babies exposed to sign language will babble in signs? What is sign language like baby talk, though? Is that what you're talking about? Like if I say like goo goo gaga or like baby talk a baby, the baby will do that too? But like in sign, like it'll sign it? Like that's amazing. That's crazy. Scott says, Tracy mostly did impersonations or impressions. Yeah, I remember that. What happened to her? I don't know. All right, let's get to question number 3. I got to do a little copying and pasting. So, all right, question 3. Sorry about no, that's last week's question 3. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Question number 3 for today for fictional inventions. So when Marty McFly goes back in time and visits Doc Brown in 1955, what is Doc Brown wearing on his head? You guys remember the scene, right? Doc Brown opens the door and he like jumps out and he's got this big giant thing on his head. What is it? I mean, I don't think it had an official name. So if you like can tell me what it does, or like I have a name for it in mind, but let's see what you guys remember that too. Jeff Elliott says that Tracy Ullman did something recently. Oh, I'll have to look for that. Kiefer says goo gaga and the kid just slips you the bird. That reminds me of like there's a Kevin Hart skit where he was talking about his 2-year-old daughter when his daughter was younger. And she just talks baby talk, but he's like, but I could tell by the way she's talking to me that she's cursing me out. And he would just pretend like he would just mimic what his daughter was saying, but say it in a way that like very clearly someone's like cursing you out. I thought that was pretty funny. That was back when I thought Kevin Hart was really, really funny. All right. So let's see. Any answers for what Doc Brown was wearing? Man, you guys are good. Let's go for some of the wrong answers first. Jeff like says a fedora. What's a fedora? I'm trying to picture that. I mean, I know it's a hat, but like sometimes I have a hard time with different hat types. JC says a colander. No, but I think that in other like TV and movies and cartoons that have like parodied Back to the Future, they typically are wearing a colander on their head. So that's not it. Or was it? What part of it was it a colander? Part of it was a colander, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember. I remember all the stuff around it, but I don't remember the part that's exactly on his head. Scott said the time machine. No, he hadn't thought of the time machine yet. Or I guess he had thought of the time machine already, but yeah, no, it wasn't a time machine. Dr. Funk says, is it true that they're going to make a Back to the Future remake? I mean, why? See, why does it do that from time to time? There we go. We're back. Sorry for those listening. My camera just like went out for a second. I don't know if I heard of that. I feel like, well, yeah. Why would you do that? Because like once you did like 2020 and like the Cubs, or not, what was it? What year was it? It wasn't 2020. Whatever year it was. And like the Cubs won the World Series, and you had all those other predictions correct. You're like, why mess with that? Yeah, I don't know. All right. Oh, Alviara said, yes, it was a colander. Oh, okay. All right, let's go some of the right answers. Who had it first? Well, I guess JC maybe with the colander is correct. But Lewis came in right after that and said a mind reader. Yeah, Carlos said a mind reader. And Alvaro said a helmet to read the brain. Yeah, Stevie76 had mind reader. Yeah, you guys knew it. Man, Tiva had it as well. Good job, guys. Yeah, I didn't make these hard enough. I said that every week. But man. Oh, wow. Yeah, there we go. Jay Pelican has the official correct answer, though. It's a brainwave analyzer, and it was supposed to help them be able to guess what people or understand what people were saying. All right. Mark Chankogo says, Saved by the Bell reboot, pretty good. Cleared it in a few hours. Oh, really? I saw, well, you know, like in the mornings here, the TV's on, and there's a show that's on after like the morning shows that has AC Slater on it. And they were talking about it there. And so they showed like a lot of clips from it. And I was like, oh, they actually made that. I never thought they were actually going to do it, but they did. But cool. I might have to check that out. All right. Oh, No Twist says Michael J. Fox was actually just on the Mark Maron podcast. That's a strange sentence, kind of. I wouldn't think of those two people as being like on the same podcast or like hanging out. You know, I know like on a podcast it's an interview and you're kind of doing that, but interesting. Christine Boo says, Kofuzi, why did you move a lot when you were growing up? I don't know. I don't know if my mom's here. She might be able to answer it more specifically, but I think it's because offer you a free month of rent when you sign a new lease. And then when you stay there after a year, then it goes up. The rent goes up because you no longer have that free month prorated. I mean, that's I've never asked my parents about it specifically, but I think that's why we did. So we moved like every like year or so. So I think that's why. We lived in a lot of different apartment buildings growing up. All right. Jeff Belly says, I see AC Slater on the gas pump TV thing. Yeah, there's no gas pump TV things around here. I haven't seen any. What's funny is like there's a gas station up the hill here in New Vienna. And for the longest time, that thing didn't even have a credit card reader on it. And so you had to go in to buy gas. And it closed at night. So there were times I remember where like I wanted to fill up on gas, but I couldn't because like all the gas stations were closed. That wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was before we had kids, so it's more than 8 years ago. But yeah. Larry Mull says, trivia, what did Marty say people did for fun in 1985? What did he say that? I don't remember that. That's funny. Yeah, Carrie Smith said no paper. I mean, they got it now, but they got it several years ago. But like, I distinctly remember a time where I was like, "What do you mean I can't?" And then you would go to like the pump, and then like the spot on the machine for it to be there was just like a flat panel of sheet metal. Like there was no cutout, there was no thing, and no like pad to do it. It was interesting. Scott says New Jersey is still a no self pump state. Quite lame. Yeah, I don't know. Are they ever going to change that? Why? I don't understand why they don't change that. My dad would tell me that the reason for it is because it created jobs somehow, because then like someone would have to go and fill up the pump for you. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. I'm not really sure how that works, but yeah, it's just a weird law. Go Kiwi says, hey Michael, when can you run around the lake again? Are you still in lockdown there? Would you have to wear masks on public transport? Yeah, I mean, we're like, there's pretty much like not a lot of places in the US that are going to go on what anyone would call a lockdown. Just because of the way Americans are handling all of this. And I think that some places will have, the situation where the mayors will strongly urge, advise, and plead with the public to do certain things that would be consistent with a lockdown. In Chicago, I think that they are on like a kind of like a lockdown advisory where it's advised to put yourself on a lockdown. I don't know what that means for running around the lake. For a while, it was open again. So as long you couldn't go hang out there, but if you were using it for transport, like commuting or to exercise, you could do that. There goes my camera again. Here we go. It's back. And at this point right now, if we want to go from Iowa to Chicago, we would have to under self-quarantine for 14 days before we could like do anything there. So it's probably going to be a little bit longer before we go back. And the reason we would have to self-quarantine is because here in Iowa, there's like people are happy. Like the governor had a press conference today. She was excited because the numbers went down because the testing facilities were closed over Thanksgiving, but the numbers went down. And I think this county at least is under 20% positivity for the first time in a long time. I think that's what it was. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So that's the story. So we're still here for a little while longer. We'll see how much longer until I can get back to the lake. I miss it for sure. All right. Chris Yao says, hi everyone, got tied up with work. Sorry if you covered this already, but rest in peace to Andre Hooser. Fell 140 meters to death while trail running. I saw that today and I didn't know what was going on with that. I didn't know it was a sudden death. I saw Camille Herron posted something about her. I'm not familiar with who that was, so it's interesting to know. I'm very sorry to hear that. That's crazy. Wow, that's a big fall. That's crazy. Jeff says, I've been doing my best in dealing with the pandemic. My family is on lockdown, but I know if I go to the grocery store in a red area, there will be people there without masks. Yeah. That's, I think this county did implement a mask mandate. Compliance with the now official mask mandate is about the same as mask wearing compliance before there was a mask mandate. So it's an interesting time to be an American, I think. All right. Yeah. So, but definitely lots of people saying scary stuff about Andrea, and Chris Dyke says that as well. Yeah, that's crazy. Sam Matassa also expressing. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Sam. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Okay. Do we go to their trivia question at this point? All right. Maybe. I don't mean to be callous about it. But all right. Let's go to the next trivia question. Okay. It's kind of a sequitur from talking about people that don't want to follow mask mandates, because Donald Trump was in this movie. But let's go to Home Alone 2. In Home Alone 2, Kevin McAllister is able to trick hotel staff into allowing him to make a reservation at the Plaza Hotel in New York. What is the name of the device he uses to alter his voice? So he calls up. I think he calls up and makes the reservation over the phone using his dad's credit card, because he got separated from his family on a Christmas vacation again. But he uses something to make his voice sound like an adult's voice. Does anyone know what that device was called? Daniel M says Walkman. That's kind of close, but it's not it. Mm-hmm. Carlos Rivera says Deep Throat. Yeah, but someone Remy says a yak bag. No. Benway says Kika K too many. That's really funny. Jason Dahl, this is Mr. McAllister, the father. That's so funny. I watched it the other day with my kids, and they had never seen it before, and they really enjoyed it. They liked it a lot. And as I was watching it, I'm like, this is the worst story. All the terrible people, if you think about it, it's a black comedy, right? Because it's like an anti-morality play. All the terrible people are rewarded in this movie. The mother is terrible. The uncle is terrible. The siblings are all terrible. Kevin is a miserable brat. I mean, he kind of turns it around. He always befriends one loner in the movies, but it doesn't change the fact that he just wishes his family disappeared twice. And on the second time, even going through everything he went through in the first time, he's excited about it. He's happy that it happened, right? So it's just crazy. And then at the end, because remember, Kevin at Home Alone 2 foiled the robbery of the toy store that was going to donate all this money to charity. And so the toy store owner sent all these presents to Kevin and the family where they were staying at the Plaza Hotel in New York. And Buzz, who's a terrible person as well, it's everybody stop. We got to stop and thank Kevin, because without Kevin, none of this great stuff would have been possible. And it's they're standing in one of the most expensive hotel rooms in the country, full of toys that they all easily could have bought themselves, right? The family could have afforded, they're flying first class. At least they make the adults fly first class when I go on these trips every year at Christmas time, right? So they got these presents for free when they easily could have afforded them, presents that could have gone to more needy children from that toy store owner. I don't know. It's just I got really mad by the end of that movie. But anyway, going back to the trivia question, let's see who had it first. Truth Street remembers that it was Gray. And I think it was No Twist 1 coming in with all the answers this week. Oh, you got it, but someone got it first before you, No Twist. Am I saying that right? No Twist 1. Corey Allen had it first. Talk Boy. He had one and did all I could to copy him. Yeah, I was doing some research on it, and they were saying the first Talk Boy that came out didn't have the voice altering function on it. I think it pissed a lot of people off. And so it came out again the following year as the Talk Boy Deluxe, and that did have the voice altering function on it. My cousin had one, and that thing was super fun. You couldn't ever make it. There's no way you could trick an adult into believing that there was an adult talking to you, because we tried a whole bunch of stuff like, well, maybe if we talked a little bit faster, that way when it gets slowed down, it gets deeper and it's talking at a regular pace. And we tried a whole bunch of stuff, but you can never make it do that. But, you know, that's the fiction that you're buying into. But it was a fun little device. It ate batteries like crazy, though, didn't it? I just felt like every time you put batteries in it, it needed more batteries. Gulshan Powell saying that it could have been the flux capacitor. That's a good one. All right. Dr. Funk 1216 says, doesn't anyone else with angels wish that Angels with Filthy Souls was a real movie? It wasn't a real movie? I thought it was a real movie. That's amazing that it's not. So they have to like make this movie within a movie for it? Crazy. Chris Yao says, you can get Talkboy tape recorder on Amazon for $199 and $10 shipping. That's crazy. That's very expensive. My mother-in-law is going through right now and trying to rebuy all the toys that she bought for like my older daughter. She wants to buy them for like my younger daughter. They're 4 years apart. Because like my younger daughter has a couple other cousins that are about her age. So they all have the same like Christmas toys. And there's not any other cousins that are like my youngest age. And so my mother-in-law was like, well, maybe I can get her one of those as well so they can all have them. But now like the dolls that were like $20 at Christmas time, like 4 or 5 years ago, are all like $200. Same thing as the Talk Boy. It's crazy. Mark Chan Coco says, don't show them part 3. They loved part 3. We showed them that. I think they saw part 3 before they saw part 2. So I think they saw Home Alone 1, Home Alone 3, and then Home Alone 2. They weren't confused for whatever reason. But like they thought it was really funny. And sometimes the baby, she's like real picky about movies that she'll watch. And she was adamant that she's like, we're not watching this. This is not a good movie. We're not watching this. And then after like 20 minutes, she was just like gut laughing. She was just like, ah. It was like the slapstick was so bad. But like for a 4-year-old, it was amazingly funny. So they really liked part 3. Even though for me to watch it, I'm just like, oh, this is terrible. This is so bad. Let's see. All right. What else we got here? Mark Chankogo says they're making a reboot to Home Alone, Unbreakable. Kimmy Schmidt and Mac will be in it. What? Is that true? I think it's crazy that like there's just all these reboots. Sam is saying, how would a reboot work? Kevin McAllister probably has a cell phone in modern times. That's what I don't think. Like if you could just text someone and be like, I'm fine. The whole thing with the police, the police station where he's like, no, you need like domestic services or whatever. And he like bangs on the window and like not hands the phone, but like transfers the phone over. And they're like, no, you just want regular police. And then he like, bangs on the window and like sends it back. Like that doesn't work. Cause then you just would text me like, Kevin, you okay? Where are you? And I don't know. I'm not sure how they do the reboot either. Unless it's a period piece. That's the thing that I can think of is like, maybe it's still back in the days before cell phone. So it's like, maybe they go like a Stranger Things route, you know? So it's like the 80s nostalgia, but instead of 80s nostalgia, it's like 90s nostalgia. Right. So like we're back in a world where cell phones don't exist. And to answer the phone, it's still wireless, but you got to pull out the antenna, you know, like maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. But like, there's so many movies that are like that. Whereas like if you tried to do like those movies wouldn't make sense very much anymore. Maybe see basically any action movie involving like a phone booth, you know, those movies don't work anymore either. You know. Patrick Monk says Home Alone COVID 2020. That'd be weird. That'd be a really weird one. Jason Dahl said, wasn't there an Alexa or Google Home commercial with a modern day Home Alone? Was there? Huh. I'm not sure about it. I didn't see that. Jeff Elliott says, like, they have to use a bag phone and put it on top of the car for a better signal. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the next question, question number 5 for today. All right. And I mean, I guess speaking of like Home Alone COVID edition, here we go. Question number 5. Just copy and paste it in here. All right, let's go to the movie WALL-E. In WALL-E, everyone is constantly sitting in their hover chairs, sipping liquid food, Slurpees, and interacting solely through their screens. What is the name of the ship that everyone's on in WALL-E? Does anyone remember that one? See, these are a little bit more specific. Sorry about that. All right. Martha says, ship of fools. Just kidding, but evidently true. That's not a bad name for it. Mark Chanko said, I don't think I saw that one. That's one of my favorite movies. WALL-E. I just really like it. It takes a long time to get into it, and it's really dark in the beginning. But I think that's kind of why I like it. I like it when DreamWorks, they let them. Is it not DreamWorks? Pixar lets itself get a little bit dark. I mean, kind of like in. I guess it's not dark, but in Up, that's a pretty intense first 30 minutes or 20 minutes, you know? And so, yeah, I like it when Pixar does that. So some names for the ship are Titanic. Scott says the Nebuchadnezzar. That's a great one. Awesome. Chris Dyke also says Titanic. Terrence Hui says Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. Louis Becerra says Waste Allocation Lifter. No. Daniel M says La Marina. Frank says the Nova Blast. That's a great name. JC says the Lusitania. Nice. Very good. New Betra says, I remember By and Large was the name of the big company, which was clever. Yeah, I like that. I mean, so many parts of it were very prescient, I feel like. So I don't know, I just really liked it. Gulshan Paul calling it the Millennium Falcon. Nice. Ben says the Friendship. Nice. Martha calls it Noah's Ark. No, but I was reading, as I was doing some research for the trivia, I'm reading that there is like this very popular theory online, I guess not conspiracy theory, but theory about the movie that's saying like, you know, when they land back on Earth and everyone like gets off of the ship, there's no animals. There's just people there. And they're like, they don't really know about like soil and plants, you know, like basic things. So they're like, what did they eat? And so the theory is clearly they're cannibals. And so like they initially left with like hundreds of thousands of people. And then by the end, there's only thousands of people. So like, that's kind of like what they were thinking. And like Noah's Ark made me think of that because there were no 2x2s of anything on that. Daniel M calls it the carbon rocket. Nice. This is a good one. These are some great wrong answers. Matt Legrand calls it the Valdez. Nice. Ben White calls it Bodie McBoatface. Is that ship still called Bodie McBoatface? Like there's a USS vessel, right? It's like a research vessel called Bodie McBoatface, isn't there? It's like a research vessel. Is that right? I'm not sure. Martha says the USS Trump. I guess Brian Nee said it. Can you imagine if there's a USS Trump? It'll just be all like horns, just lots of noise, no weapons. New Betra says Toy Story 3 had incredibly dark points. Yeah, it did. All right, let's go see who had the first right answer. David Lidstone had it, but I think there was one ahead. Yeah. Christine Booth had it as well, but I think the first one to have it was Alec Aro, The Axiom. Yeah, that was really cool. I really like that movie. And the name of The Axiom, I feel like that's a really like, it wasn't like like a clever pun type of name, but I felt like it was very well could have been called The Axiom. It just makes sense. It seemed to be fitting for me. I like the name of it. All right. Chris Dyke said, if there's one thing I've learned from this trivia, I need to watch even more TV and movies. I mean, probably not. I don't watch a lot of TV and movies. I watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't watch a lot of TV and movies anymore. So this is all knowledge that Because like, yeah, like, so for example, like none of this trivia happened before like I had kids. Yeah, no, after I had kids. It's all from before I had kids. Frank coming in with some more info on Bodie McBoatface. It's the lead boat of the AutoSub Long Range Class 3 of autonomous underwater vehicles used for scientific research and is carried on the research RRS. Oh, okay. Sir David it's on the Sir Attenborough. Oh man. That's so crazy. Like this Sir David Attenborough research vessel has an AUV called Bodie McBoatface on it. I thought Bodie McBoatface was the name of that ship it was on. I didn't know that was the name of the drone that's on there. Interesting. Crazy. All right. And this is here says, hi, Kafuzi and everyone, just in for mountain biking. Very cool. Very cool. Jack Ash, 1975 says, don't take Axiom if you are pregnant or nursing. That's funny. Man, Martha says, Das, where'd it go? Das Boot. Does anyone remember that very serious World War II submarine movie? I'm familiar with it, but I don't think I ever saw it. I'm trying to think. And now any memory that I'm trying to like pull up of a submarine movie just brings back Hunt for Red October and Alec Baldwin as that Russian. Is Alec Baldwin's a Russian? No, who's the Russian in that one? I forget. Oh, Sean Connery, right? Sean Connery was a Russian. All right, we got Virtue Versa says, "Hey, Kafuzi, keep up the great content. What's going on, Virtue? Thanks for stopping by today." Yeah, Foster Funk says, "Hunt for Red October." Yeah, Sean Connery was the Russian. Kevin Scott said the poll for the name of the ship picked Bodie McBoatface, but it was vetoed. So to honor the poll, oh, I see. The UAV was named Bodie McBoatface. All right, that seems much more sensible. It's kind of like the Beavis and Butthead Memorial Auditorium. What show was it? Was that from The Simpsons as well? No. What was it when they let the students name the auditorium? It was called the Beavis and Butthead Memorial Auditorium. What was that from? Anyone? All right. Meredith Roseman's here. Good to see you again. She's his first time back on the live in a while. Awesome. Good to see you again. And Justin McClary is here as well. What's going on, Justin? All right. Let's get to the bonus question for today. I got a bonus for you guys as well. All right. And this one I think kind of like can lead to a little bit of a runner's discussion here, which I think might be interesting. But first, the question. All right. I have too many characters. It's too long. It doesn't fit in here. All right. All right. I'll take out the preamble. Sorry, give me a second, guys. All right, here's the bonus question. So we have to go back to the baby translator episode, or the episode where Homer designed the Homer, the car with the separate bubble for the in-laws in the back. So in that episode, to make the baby translator, Homer's able to help his half brother, Herb Powell, right? Homer's able to help his half brother with seed money in the amount of $2,000 for the invention, so he can make the baby translator. But before he was going to give that money to his half brother, what was Homer going to buy with that $2,000? Marge wanted him to buy a washer and dryer, because remember the washer and dryer were like fighting each other, right? Because they were just bouncing all over the place. They weren't really working. But Homer instead had his eye on something else. What was he going to buy before he decided that he needed to give it to his brother, whose company he destroyed? Oh, Martha says, another Simpsons one. I'm a loser today. Sorry about that, Martha. I'll make the questions a little bit more like non-specific for next time. Meredith Rose said donuts. No, that's a Futurama episode. What's it? Fry has 100 cups of coffee. 100 $1 cups of coffee. But yeah. Frank Lahunier says beer. No. Benoit says a few Nike Alpha Flies. Yeah, it wouldn't be that many. By the way, I did pick up a pair of the Adios Pro today. Finally, I looked all over for it, and I couldn't find it. I still don't see it on the Adidas US website or on the app. And I was able to find it I saw that Running Warehouse posted it in their stories that they had them in stock. So I swiped up and I picked it up from them in the Sunrise Bliss. So hopefully we'll be getting that soon. Yeah. Yeah, where this is Vaporflies as well. Arias says, a new car? No, he wasn't going to get a new car. Louis Becerra says, a TV antenna? Nope, not a TV antenna. Ralph Ferraro says, Atreus subscriptions? No, Homer wasn't going to get an Atreus subscription. I know that's not what you meant, but they did go live today. And Ralph ordered a pair of Voyagers for $55. That's a crazy price. It's amazing. And looking forward to running them. Cool. Very cool. Stephen Gersdorf looked it up. Yeah. Sam Mataza said a treadmill. Martha says the Hyperion Elite Pros. Maybe. Funny. And Patrick Wing said a computer? No. Jeff Elliott says, did I get the special color? Yeah, I got the yellow ones. So that's the only ones I've been able to get. Yeah, Chris Dyke says, if all your TV movie knowledge is pre-kids marriage, you must have been glued to the TV in your younger years. Yeah, I was pretty much raised by television. I mean, I was raised by my parents too, but I always had the TV on in the background. Constantly. And then as an adult or as a young adult, I continued to always have the TV on just in the background. It was never quiet for me. There was always TV on. Yeah. All right. So, David Lisson said the baby talking thing. Can't quite remember. Yeah, no, he was he was going to buy something else and he didn't want to give the money to his half brother. But he ended up buying, he says, high price. That's kind of close because the right answer is someone had it earlier. Where'd it go? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I think Carlos Rivera is kind of close. Not exactly a recliner. All right, here we go. I think Nuvetra had it. The massage chair. The massage chair was called the Spine Melter 2000. It was one of those chairs where you sit in it and like your legs are like wrapped in something. There's like you're like cupped inside something for each leg and then each arm, and then you lean back and like the whole chair moves. And it was one of those things. And then they did a 2001 Space Odyssey parody of it where like Homer like went into like a parallel, like a different dimension because the massage was so good. That's what he was going to buy with 2000. I think he got the $2,000. Like he won something at work. He won it somehow. So it was like a sudden, just like a sudden windfall of cash. So that's what he was going to get. And then I think who else had it? And a couple of people had it as well. Let's see. Brent Aubrey kind of went with a chair. Yep. But it makes me think though, like, oh yeah, Brent Aubrey said a vibrating chair. That is. Yeah. So like I was looking at vibrating chairs, not because I want one, but I saw one somewhere in a like a Black Friday ad, like maybe in a circular or something, like in the newspaper. And I was like, with like how, like where did, like there's massage guns now. There's like there's the Normatec boots, like the air boots that provide the compression and the massage on your legs. There's all these recovery tools, but like massage chairs though still are like in this like weird category of things you see in the middle aisle of the mall and you pay like $1 to sit in it for a couple of minutes, or like in Sharper Image, or like I don't know anyone who bought like one of those like $2,000 like chairs, but like I can think of people that have like a $2,000 like Normatec setup, right? Not a lot of people, but people do it, right? But I'm like, where did those companies miss? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like they were in a good position to like hop on to like use this as like athletes should use this, because for a while they were positioning it at like dads that work a lot, you know, and like people that love golf, like those kind of people. Like that's where it was like targeted at. It like uses for watching television even more comfortably, where it could have easily like gone a different way. That's just what I thought about when I was looking at this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm way off on the mark on that one. Yeah. All right. Oh, that's right. When the first annual Montgomery Burns Award for Achievement in the Field of Excellence, they made up an award because like he almost started like a nuclear meltdown, and so like to keep him quiet about like how like dangerous it was to work or something like that, right? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They needed to pay him off for like Sue for making him sterile. Yeah, that's what it was. Funny. Jeff Elliott says, "I want those dumb / expensive boots, the Normatec. They are nice. I enjoy it, but like, you know, it's like sometimes I just wonder, like, you know, if I just sat with my legs up for half an hour after I took a shower, after like if I went like hard workout, shower, and then just sat with my legs up for a while and just did nothing, or like was on my phone or like work or whatever, but just didn't like hurry up and into my day. Maybe that, I mean, I just feel like it's a very expensive way to make yourself slow down. But I know there's some like benefit to it too. But I feel like the real nice thing is that like, look, I got my boots on, can't bother me. You know, I feel like there's a nice part of that to it too. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. It's a little bit all over the place. Sorry about that. But thanks everybody for playing. Congratulations to Kiefer again, who won because he has 2 trillion points. Next week, I don't know what the trivia is going to be. So there was a request for Wes Anderson. I just don't know that I know enough. I'm not familiar enough of it. That just was something that I never like hugely got into somehow. I don't know. But tomorrow's live stream will just be a regular live stream. So same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow's video in the morning, though, I'm not sure what it's going to be. It's either going to be about gloves. It's probably going to be about gloves. That's probably what it's going to be about. I got some new gloves. They're pretty interesting. I've never run in gloves like these before. They kind of work. They were really nice today in 15-degree weather. So I think that's what tomorrow's video is going to be about. All right. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today.